Now at 5, we're live from Coffeyville, Kansas in the downtown plaza for our More Power to You tour, plus the latest on an investigation for the death of a woman in Lamar, Missouri. And
a federal judge ruled today that we could see a redacted version of the affidavit that led to the search of former President Trump's Mar-A-Lago home. I'm Deborah Alfarone with that hearing in Florida, as well as the plea deal for a close associate of the former president.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Hi, everybody. We're live today in downtown Coffeyville, Kansas for the More Power to You tour. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Now, over the course of the next month and a half, we're going to be live at different areas of the 4 states every Thursday during the 5 and 6 p.m. newscast as part of our tour. More on that in a moment, but first, some of today's top stories. A mystery in Lamar, Missouri, where police are investigating the death of a 36-year-old woman. Authorities responded to a home on the 1100 block of Allen Street just before 3 a.m. That was this morning. That's where they found the victim and rushed her to the hospital, where she later died. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow in Springfield, Missouri. A Kids Count study shows that between 2016 and 2020, the number of children ages 3 through 17 who reported mental health issues rose by 26%. That adds up to more than 1.5 million kids. So as students return back to school, a counselor at Joplin High says it's important to remember them, to check in with you, and to protect their mental health, as well as looking after other factors.
Are you getting, between 7 and 10 hours of good sleep? And are you using technology in the middle of the night or late into the evening? All of that affects how our brain works and how it functions during the day when we're awake. And so once again, we do talk about the importance of a routine regarding sleep and getting good sleep at night.
Haycock also says students should not hesitate to reach out to parents, teachers, and school counselors when they need help. Joined now by Doug Hetty, beautiful downtown Coffeyville, Kansas, outside the historic Condon Bank.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I cannot complain about the weather, Doug.
No, I mean, it's hot, but it's in the 80s, which is great. We have pretty much clear skies across the region, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the evening hours. Just some puffy little cumulus clouds out there, but overall, it looks pretty good. Any rain, you got to travel south, down through parts of Texas, Louisiana, into Mississippi and Alabama, but we look good as we go through the evening hours. But look at this system spinning up through parts of Minnesota. That is our next system that will start to affect us by the time we head into Friday night and then also into the weekend. Look at our temps: 85 in Nevada, 80 in Anderson, a little bit warmer in our western counties. Chanute sitting at 92, Independence, Coffeyville at 89. We have 86 in Nowata, and as we go through the evening hours, we'll drop back through the 80s. But another very comfortable night, down to about 63 for an overnight low. Now, we do have some rain chances in the forecast. We're also going to heat up a bit as we go through the next few days. So, of course, we're going to break that down all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. Thanks, Doug. The Montgomery County, Kansas Commission has committed $100,000 as matching funds for the city of Coffeyville to enhance their broadband access. And to be able to get the fund, the city needs to receive a grant from a program that's called LINK. The city of Coffeyville applied for that program as they want people in rural areas farther from the city to be able to have strong internet access. Some rural families already do have wireless service to the city, but they're hoping for something better.
Pandemic really made a need to get to the homes that are not getting communication through broadband.
Commissioners say they won't give the city of Coffeyville money for the expansion if they don't get that LINK grant. A Coffeyville resident receives an unconventional type of smoke detector. The Kansas State Fire Marshal's office Get Alarmed Kansas program offers smoke detectors for hearing impaired or deaf residents. Smoke alarms go first to the Kansas fire departments, and their departments then schedule a time to install those devices. To be eligible, you have to be a resident of Kansas and approved by a certified professional.
So what happens is if typically a smoke alarm would go off, this alarm will go off, but it'll make a loud sound, but also an LED flashing strobe. So that way the hearing impaired individual or the deaf individual, if they're in a state of not deep sleep, they'll be awakened.
Hearing impaired smoke detectors run around $65 to $200 if you purchase them online. A federal judge in Florida might approve the partial release of the affidavit supporting the FBI's search of former President Trump's Mar-A-Lago estate. During a hearing today, he's signaled the public should see at least some of that document. And in New York, a top Trump organization executive pleaded guilty in a tax scheme, cutting a deal that could make him a key witness in a trial against the former president's company. Reporter Deborah Alfarone has more now from Washington.
A federal judge in Florida is ordering the government to take steps to release the legal document that supported the warrant for the FBI search of Mar-A-Lago. Major print and broadcast media organizations, including CBS News, asked U.S. Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart to release the affidavit over the objection of the Justice Department.
Judge Reinhart seemed to have a very good sense that it is his job as the gatekeeper in this case to perform his function of balancing the interest in the public of accessing these materials against the interest in the government in keeping them secret.
The DOJ says making the affidavit public could serve as a roadmap to the government's ongoing investigation, chill future cooperation by witnesses, and harm other high-profile investigations.
They tell us that the investigation not just is at the beginning, but what they expect to do later on, why they think that the obstruction of justice statute was in fact violated.
The judge is giving the government until next week to propose redactions to the document and says he is not prepared to find the affidavit should be fully sealed. In a separate legal battle Thursday, the former CFO of the Trump Organization pleaded guilty to 15 counts of fraud and tax evasion. Alan Weisselberg is accused of receiving more than $1.7 million in off-the-books pay from the Trump Organization. As part of the plea deal, Weisselberg may be called to testify against the former president's company in a related trial. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
The judge in New York agreed to sentence Weisselberg to 5 months in jail at Rikers Island and ordered him pay nearly $2 million in restitution. Still ahead, once again, we're live in Coffeyville, Kansas, and we're going to be speaking with the tourism director about the town's history and upcoming events, including Dalton Defenders Days. Welcome back again. We're live in downtown Coffeyville, Kansas for our More Power to You project, the tour. We're going to a number of communities across the area over the coming weeks. And I'm joined by a person who has, I think, an enviable job. Amy Dollar is the tourism director here, and I say enviable job because there's a lot to promote here. And we're going to talk about a couple of the historic things that are here in Coffeyville for tourists, starting with the Brown Mansion. We're going to show some video. Tell me what this mansion has to offer.
Well, the mansion has 4 floors of very unique history. It is guided tours. It's beautiful. It's the jewel of Coffeyville. The Browns found natural gas. They built this beautiful home. When you go on a tour, you go into the library, the music room, the solarium. You get to see a ballroom. I mean, it's fantastic.
I've been on that tour myself, and I have to say it's a must-see for anybody who lives in this area who hasn't. Can't beat Coffeyville without mentioning the Dalton Defenders Museum. It has a lot to tell us not only about the Dalton raid, but just about the city in general.
Well, you know, the city is home of the demise of the Dalton gang, which that is what we are very proud of. Our defenders, rose up and defended their town and their money. The museum is right behind us here across the street. They offer, not only do they hold the Dalton guns and different things like that, they hold a very unique Coffeyville history, Walter Johnson history, our Native American history, just, a lot of things, they have to offer there.
And as part of the Dalton Defenders recognition, you have a Dalton Defenders days, I should say, every year. I know that the anniversary is actually coming up in October. It's going to be 130 years. The celebration begins, I believe, on September 29th?
September 30th and October 1st will be the Dalton Defender Days. It will be 2 days of reenactments, of vendors, live music. Of course, our museum will be open. You can tour Death Alley. It'll be a lot of fun.
Talk about Death Alley. I know that there was, of course, the 4 robbers or would-be robbers who were killed by the townspeople. Also, 4 townspeople tragically were killed in defending this city, and this in some ways honors those heroes who stood up for their town.
Yes, it is. That's what we really want to concentrate, that we do honor our heroes, our defenders, more than the outlaws.
Expecting a big crowd this year?
We always expect a big crowd. We hope, we work all year, especially that's part of the fun I have as a tourism director. I work all year to help promote things like that, especially Dalton Defender Days. So we really hope to have a great crowd this year, and we invite everyone to attend.
And now that we're past the pandemic largely, maybe crowd bigger than we've seen in the last couple of years.
I hope so. Tourism in general seems to be picking up, and it's an outdoor event, so there's plenty of room to spread out right here on the plaza and enjoy it and be safe.
Amy Dollar, Tourism Director here in Coffeyville, Kansas. Thank you for talking with us. A little bit later, a look at the correlation between COVID-19 and neurological conditions. Plus, Doug has the latest forecast. That's coming up.
Well, of course, we're out here live in Coffeyville, downtown. If you are in Coffeyville, come by and say hi. It's actually a pretty nice day for us today. We have partly sunny skies. Temperatures, they're not bad. Of course, they're hot. It's summertime, but it's not the extreme heat that we've been so accustomed to this summer. We're actually starting to see some changes across the region with our pattern, which is great news. Now, we did get all that rain on Tuesday evening. That helps. That puts a dent in our drought, but we still have an extreme drought anywhere from Independence, Coffeyville through Joplin, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. So we do need some more rain. We do have chances, at least, as we go through the next couple days, which is great. If you are getting outside for the evening, it looks pretty good. We're sitting lower 80s on the Missouri side. Once you get into northeastern Oklahoma and also southeastern Kansas, a little warmer, mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees, but there's nothing going on. We just have partly cloudy skies. A little puffy cumulus clouds have been popping up, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the evening hours. Any rain, any showers, any thunderstorms down to our south, Texas, parts of Louisiana, into Mississippi, and also Alabama. But look at this little system up through parts of Minnesota. That's actually our next system that will start to affect us by tomorrow evening, giving us chances for showers and thunderstorms. So let's go through time. This is going to be our future track forecast. We're going to stop it in the morning hours. Look at the temps. Very comfortable, low to mid 60s. Quick warm up by noon. I think most of us will be into the mid 80s. And then once we get into the afternoon, we should top out right around 90, 91 degrees during the afternoon. So it'll turn out to be a pretty good day. In fact, I'll pull out your day planner for you. 62 to start, 80 by noon. High temp of 86. Now, focus on our northern counties. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms trying to work in tomorrow evening. They kind of die as they push in, but we are going to have some scattered thunderstorms in northern counties tomorrow evening. Everybody else looks dry. Now, after 9 or 10 p.m., we'll get additional scattered showers and thunderstorms. Most of these are going to be along and north of I-44. It's going to be hit and miss, but at least we're going to have some rain chances as we go into Saturday morning. As we go through the day on Saturday, we get partly sunny skies, temperatures near 90, and we're going to have additional pop-up thunderstorms during the afternoon. So if you do have outdoor activities this weekend, it's not a rain out, but we are going to have these scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. A few leftover ones into Sunday morning, and then I actually think Sunday afternoon looks pretty good. All right, here's your day planner. Tomorrow, 63 in the morning, 85 by noon. Our northern counties getting those pop-up thunderstorms, high temp of 91 degrees. Any rain chances, they sink south by Sunday afternoon. And then it looks like we just kind of sink back into the 90s by the time we head into next week. I'm hoping we don't hit 100 again, but we're going to make a few runs at it. 91 tomorrow, 93 Saturday. Sunday, mid-80s, and then low to mid-90s through next week. We do get some rain chances that start to pop back up again next Wednesday and Thursday. Of course, it's hot outside, but we've hit 122 times.
That's ridiculous.
So let's keep it at 22.
The average is what, like twice a year?
At best.
At best,
yeah.
at worst.
Yeah.
Here's the cure.
Yeah, a lot of water.
H2O, lots of that. Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
Topping today's Health Watch, there's growing evidence that COVID-19 survivors might have higher risks of neurological and psychiatric conditions. Bradley Blackburn has more.
New research finds people with COVID-19 have a higher risk of developing some neurological and psychiatric conditions up to 2 years after infection. Previous research from the University of Oxford found COVID-19 survivors were at risk of neurological and mental health conditions in the first 6 months after infection. Now, their latest study in the journal Lancet Psychiatry looked at health records of more than 1 million patients diagnosed with COVID-19. Researchers found an increased risk of developing conditions such as dementia, psychosis, seizures, and brain fog for up to 2 years after COVID-19 infection, compared to patients with other respiratory infections. Adults also faced increased risk of anxiety and depression, but researchers found that lasted less than 2 months and returned to similar rates after other infections. The Delta variant was associated with more disorders than the Alpha variant. Similar neurological and psychiatric risks were seen with the Delta and Omicron variants. This is the first large-scale study to look at the risks of these conditions with new variants emerging. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Researchers found kids were less likely than adults to develop most neurological and psychiatric diagnoses after COVID-19, but children were more likely to be diagnosed with some conditions such as seizures and psychotic disorders over the 2 years after COVID infection. Coming up, more live from right here in downtown Coffeyville. First, we take a moment to recognize a local veteran. John Anderson served in the U.S. Navy from 1945 to 1948. The Joplin native was stationed at a submarine repair base in Australia. His awards include an Asiatic Pacific Medal and Victory Medal, and we are proud to salute Yeoman Second Class John Anderson, a four-state hero. Welcome back. We are live in downtown Coffeyville, Kansas for our More Power to You tour, and we're joined by Candy Westbrook. She is the chamber president. And Candy, we've been talking a little bit about the history of this beautiful community. We're going to talk a little bit about its future.
Yes.
And that includes a soybean processing facility that's going to benefit not just Coffeyville, but also Independence and really all of Montgomery County. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, so Bartlett Grain recently announced the expansion back in October. And since that announcement, they've already expanded the scope of the project. So it is now at $375 million construction, over 320 acres that they're going to be on. And then it's estimated at about 44 million bushels of soybean that they'll be producing. So, big project.
Big jobs and big economic impact, I imagine.
It is actually the second economic project of Kansas, the largest one. And actually, Kansas itself just recently won the Golden Shovel Award for economic development. So, it's just a great blessing. It's blooming.
Obviously, employees of that processing plant are going to benefit, but really it's more than that. It's going to be the agricultural community throughout the area and some of the retailers and other businesses in Coffeyville and other surrounding communities. Tell me how they may benefit.
Yeah, so there's already some offshoots happening. We've already got improvements on the highway. Watco Railroad has already started making improvements on the rail line because there's going to be a lot of cars going through there. And then we've seen several businesses that are looking to move in and or expand here. Kind of still early, so we can't really say yet who they are, but we do know there's going to be some growth happening. And like you said, absolutely the farming industry is going to be impacted greatly, so we're excited about that.
Another thing to be excited about here in Coffeyville is the restoration of the Midland Theater. Tell me how that's going.
Yeah, it's going great. It's finally got some good momentum going, and then even more so because of a new partnership. So Coffeyville, of course, has to be known for its best coffee in the world, right? Of course. And we are. One of our roasters, though, has a unique company. It's called Coffeyville Coffee. Each bag has the history of one of a famous Coffeyville person. So recently, their newest batch is called Wayward Son, and it's named after Phil E. Hart and the band Kansas, who's from Coffeyville, and their song, Carry On Wayward Son. All the proceeds from that coffee are going to the Midland Theater to help with the restoration and rebuilding of it. So,
you know, I had to do a little research before I came to Coffeyville, and I learned, among other things, that of course Coffeyville was named for a Colonel Coffee.
Yes.
EY, not EE. Is it one of these coffee bags are going to honor Colonel Coffee?
They keep coming up with new batches all the time. We've got 4 already, so I know there's going to be more happening, so I'm excited. The other thing that is exciting, though, is that Phil from the band is promoting it on his tour, so they're using all their media outlets as well.
A Wayward Son comes home. We'll be right back. Again, we are live in downtown Coffeyville, Kansas for our More Power to You tour. We're celebrating the fact that our power, our transmitting power, has been upped considerably, and now we are accessible to people in Montgomery County and all across the area who might have had some transmission problems in previous years.
We love Montgomery County, and I mean, they get so much weather, so I love to cover them on weather.
You know what? You have about 20 seconds to cover them on weather.
All right, 91 for us tomorrow. We are going to get a few pop-up thunderstorms by evening into the overnight hours. Some scattered thunderstorms over the weekend. High at 93 Saturday.
We're going to see you right back here for KOAM News at 6, again live from Coffeyville. Let's make it a great evening.